all the genes needed to produce a human being. A human cell has thousands of different genes, which are found on 46 chromosomes in each cell. Each parent contributes 23 chromosomes. One of these pairs of chromosomes determines the gender of the offspring. In females, the chromosome pair is XX. In males, the chromosome pair is XY. Some human diseases are the result of recessive genetic defects. These disorders are usually sex-linked because they are inherited on the X chromosome. Hemophilia, or the inability of blood to clot, and red-green colored blindness are both recessive genetic disorders. Other genetic diseases are linked to certain cultures. Sickle cell anemia is a genetic disease linked to African Americans. Please take a few moments to answer questions 14 through 17 in your packet. Press pause, and when you are ready to move on to the next section, press play, and we will begin again. Gene mutation. A mutation is a change in a gene which can cause the sudden appearance of a new trait in the offspring. Some genes never mutate, others do. The mutation can occur naturally or spontaneously. Most mutations are harmful and therefore the offspring do not survive. Mutations can be caused by factors in the environment such as chemicals, X-rays, or radiation. Mutations have been important in evolution since they provide variation in the species. A new trait may cause the individual to become better adapted to the environment or to any changes that may occur in the environment. The process of mutation and sexual reproduction cause a variety of traits in species. Small differences between parents and offspring can accumulate in successive generations so that the descendants are very different from their ancestors. These genetic differences can result in a new species. This change in a species over time is known as evolution. Please take a few moments to answer questions 18 through 23. Press pause when you are ready to begin for the next section, which is evolution. Press play and we will move forward. Evolution. Change in most species is usually gradual. Most life forms evolved over millions of years. Some species of insects and bacteria can undergo significant changes in a few years. For example, antibiotic-resistant bacteria mutate very quickly. There are more than 4 million species of organisms on the earth today. Evolution explains the diversity of life forms from which we see today. Changes in the environment have affected the survival of organisms. New inherited traits make these species better adapted to its surroundings. Biological adaptations include new structures, behaviors, or physiology that enhances the survival or reproductive success of the individual. Sexual reproduction results in variation in traits through the combining of two different parent cells. Therefore, species that sexually reproduce are better able to adapt to changes in the environment. The evolution of a species is caused by genetic variations which persist. Organisms with favorable variations are better able to adapt and survive. This is called natural selection. Today, human activities such as genetic engineering and selective breeding affect the variation in some species. Selective breeding is choosing plants and animals with desirable traits to reproduce. For example, a farmer may choose to only grow disease-resistant plants. Genetic engineering involves changing the genes in a cell. Please take the time to answer questions 24 through 28. Please press pause, and when you are ready to move on to the next section, press play. Living organisms have changed from their ancestors. These changes are mostly physical changes. Organisms have gone from simple unicellular organisms to complex multicellular organisms. Fossils found in sedimentary rock show that many organisms that existed millions of years ago are no longer existing. These ancient fossils are very different from today's organisms. Recently deposited rock layers have fossils that are more similar to existing species. If we look at Figure 2, the sedimentary rock layers with fossils, we see that the oldest fossils are found at the bottom of these layers, and the youngest fossils are found at the top. The most recent fossils are always found near the top, and the oldest fossils are always found near the bottom, unless the rock layers have been overturned somehow, which is not very common. Comparative anatomy, which is the study of structural similarities and differences among living things, provides evidence for evolution. Vestigial parts are remnants of structures that were once functional in some ancestors and prove that organisms have changed. In humans, wisdom teeth and the appendix were once functional structures, but we have no use for them today. Another example of a vestigial structure in a human is the tailbone. If you feel down at the base of your spine, you can feel your tailbone, but we do not have a tail. That is a vestigial part or a remnant of a function from our ancestors. You have reached the end of the reading. Please complete all of the questions. And remember, complete the vocabulary for 10 points on the quiz. Best of luck!